Overthinking is one of the most misunderstood mental habits of our time. People think it means thinking too much, but that's not true. Overthinking is not deep thinking, it's not intelligence, and it's definitely not problem solving. Overthinking is what happens when your brain gets stuck in a loop that feels productive, but goes nowhere. You replay conversations that already ended. You imagine futures that haven't happened. You analyze decisions you can no longer change. And the more you think, the worse you feel. So the real question is not, why do I think so much? The real question is, why does my brain refuse to stop? To understand that, we need to talk about how your brain is actually designed. Your brain has one main job: keep you safe, not happy, not successful, not calm, safe. And your brain learned safety in a world that was dangerous, unpredictable, and full of real threats. Thousands of years ago, thinking ahead saved lives. Imagining worst-case scenarios meant survival. Worrying meant preparation. But here's the problem. Your brain never updated its software. Today, most threats are psychological, not physical, but your brain reacts to social rejection, uncertainty, and mistakes the same way it reacted to predators. This is where overthinking begins. At the center of this process is a small structure in your brain called the amygdala. The amygdala is your brain's alarm system. It scans for danger constantly. When it detects uncertainty, it sends a signal. Something might be wrong. Think harder. And your brain obeys. You start analyzing, replaying, predicting, trying to control the future with thoughts. But here's a critical point most people miss. Overthinking is not a thinking problem. It's a threat response problem. You're not overthinking because you like thinking. You're overthinking because your brain feels unsafe. And once the alarm is on, logic becomes weak. That's why overthinking doesn't lead to clarity, it leads to exhaustion. Neuroscience shows that during overthinking, a network in your brain called the default mode network becomes overactive. This network is responsible for self-reflection, memory replay, imagining the future. When it's balanced, it helps you learn. When it's overactive, it traps you in mental loops. That's why you can't just stop thinking. The system is running automatically. And here's where it gets worse. Overthinking is reinforced by dopamine. Most people think dopamine equals pleasure. That's wrong. Dopamine is about anticipation. It pushes you to keep searching for answers. Every time your brain says, maybe if I think a bit more, I'll figure it out, dopamine spikes, but the answer never comes. So the brain tries again and again and again. This creates the overthinking loop: uncertainty, mental scanning, temporary relief, more uncertainty. Repeat. Over time, this loop becomes a habit. Your brain learns thinking feels like control, even when it's not. This is why overthinkers often feel tired but not productive, busy but stuck, aware but powerless. So how do you break it? Not by fighting your thoughts, not by positive thinking, not by forcing silence. Those approaches fail because they attack the symptom, not the system. To stop overthinking, you have to send your brain a different message. Not stop thinking, but I am safe right now. And safety is not created by thoughts. It's created by signals. Here are the signals that actually work. First, shift from meaning to sensation. Overthinking lives in abstract space. What if? Why? What does this say about me? To interrupt it, you bring the brain back to the body. Slow breathing, cold water on the face, grounding through physical movement. These actions activate the parasympathetic nervous system. They tell the amygdala, no immediate threat. Once the alarm lowers, thinking naturally slows. Second, limit decision replay. The brain overthinks most when decisions feel open-ended, so you close the loop intentionally. Ask one question: is there a decision I can still make right now? If the answer is no, the analysis has no function. Label it, not judge it, just label it. This is rumination, not planning. Studies show that labeling thoughts reduces their emotional intensity. It creates distance. Third, replace mental control with behavioral control. Overthinkers try to control life with thoughts. That never works. Control returns when you act, even in small ways. Write one sentence. Take one step. Send one message. Clean one surface. Action grounds the brain in reality. Reality is safer than imagination. Fourth, schedule thinking instead of letting it invade everything. This sounds strange, but it works. Give your brain permission to think. Later, set a 10-minute thinking window. When thoughts appear outside it, you don't suppress them. You postpone them. Over time, the brain learns, I don't need to think all the time to be safe. Finally, understand this truth. Overthinking is not your enemy. It's a misguided protector. It's your brain trying to help, using outdated tools. When you stop fighting it and start guiding it, it loses its power. And here's the most important part. You don't need to eliminate overthinking. You need to outgrow it. As your nervous system learns safety, your thoughts naturally quiet down. Not because you force them to, but because they're no longer needed. So if you're someone who feels stuck in your head, constantly analyzing, constantly worrying, constantly replaying, there is nothing wrong with you. Your brain is doing exactly what it was designed to do. The goal now is not to think less. It's to feel safer. And when safety returns, clarity follows.